start. Thank you for doing the sacrifice and not slacking off for the last lecture of the day. And I appreciate a lot that you came to listen to me. I hope it will be not very bad choice from your side. So I will be speaking to you about something that is called flat ODF. I don't know whether anybody ever heard something about something that's called ODF. Oh, there is one. Oh, two. Wonderful. So flat ODF is the flat version of that thing that you heard about. And it's... But before I speak, I have to introduce to you this funny guy that is standing in front of you. My name is Friedrich, and I am software engineer in SUSE Linux Enterprise Division in SUSE. I used to work for SUSE on LibreOffice and OpenOffice, and I have pretty diverse background. I majored in international relations and international law, and also I majored in computer science. And I love free and open source software for 14 years. And in my free time, I work on various projects, including LibreOffice. Projects I work on, they are basically related to file format conversion, to unlocking undocumented proprietary file formats for the free and open source software world. And recently, I'm one of those developers that created something that is called Document Liberation Project. It's a project actually that is trying to put together resources and unlock proprietary file formats for those that don't like to be locked by vendors. I will be speaking on that sexta-feira, às 4 da tarde. Okay. I will be speaking on Friday at 4. So what is a flat ODF? So first, before we know what is a flat ODF, we have to know what it is not. So normal ODF file, or according to the specification called package open document file, is specified in a chapter 313 of ODF 1.2 specifications. This number you don't have to remember, but me, I come from Switzerland and we like numbers and everything that is precise. So it's a collection of XML files in a zip container. They have different names. They have content XML, they have styles XML, meta XML, settings XML. They basically are living in a zip file as independent files. And images and all objects are substreams in the zip container, and they are referenced from the content XML by the reference xlink href attribute. For example, if you run zip info on my presentation that actually I'm just using for you, you will realize that it's a pretty big melting pot, or I would say even mess of things that is inside. It has certain advantages we will see. So a flat ODF file is different, but it's also an ODF file that is specified in the ODF specification in chapter 3.1.2 of ODF 1.2 specifications. And it's a flat XML file, so no zip, nothing. It's just file that you can open in your text editor, and if there are line breaks, you can actually even read it. And the whole document is enclosed in Office document root element. That Office document contains some elements from the manifest that is in the package file, and it's Office MIME type and Office version, because there need to be something that is telling you which MIME type this document has. And images and all objects are inlined, open, tag, Office binary data. Then you have a whole long string of base 64 encoded data and closed Office binary data. I would like to say what is actually the advantage and the disadvantage of the zipped or package ODF file. The advantage of zipped file is that zipped file is compressed, so it's smaller. But that can be, the zip compression actually has one very weird problem in it. That main entry point of is a central directory end that is located at the end of the file. So if you take the file over wire, you have to wait until you took whole file so that you can actually know where to start to read it. So that might be slightly a problem if you want to read the file in real time over wire. So the central directory end is pointing to the central directory that contains entries for each file that is in the zip. For name access, you have to iterate over them, check the name, and then get the pointer to the offset and go there. And then we need to again seek back because the actual files are before the central directory. So then the entries for each file, they contain something that is called local file header. You have to you have to seek there, and the content of the stream comes after this header. So in picture, it's basically like this. At the end, you have the central directory that where you see the N. It's ending the central directory, and there is something that is telling you where the central directory begins. So it's pretty, how to say, it's pretty not comfortable if you have a huge file that is served over slow connection and you want to read the file. You have to have all the memory for the file and wait for it to come. Now, what are the advantages of the flat ODF? No need of special tools. It's just the text. It's just XML file. That's sometimes a good thing because you don't have to have decompression and compression algorithms there. And you can actually use script to generate the file. You can actually open the file, and if you have something to change, you can change it in the file. And you can use XSL transform tools, and you can generate documents programmatically from, if you have a database and you want to create report, it can create it directly. And it's also somehow easier to automatically extract information from this kind of files. You don't have to unzip it. You just write a script that runs through the elements and looks for the information. And you can access this file sequentially. You don't need to know the end of the file to start to parse it. So as the file is coming, you can start to read it. So you can save memory, and also you can do already the processing while you are reading the file. And that's what makes this flat ODF file format, exchange file format par excellence. It's, there is a possibility even not to have to actually produce a file. You can communicate the document as SAX messages. I have a slide about SAX messages. I don't know whether who of you knows what a SAX interface is. Okay, I will do the slide after. And also you can stream the document over wire, and it might be actually used for collaboration protocol because it's easier to send to and from. And many times CMS, content management systems, they have quite good compressions internally. They need versions, so it might be actually quite good format to communicate with them, because if you modify the file, the atomic change will produce only a little incremental change on the CMS, and you can actually save the space like this because a zip file, if you put it in under version control, it will be a binary, and every new version will create a binary on it. So about the SACs, it's just very quickly what it is. It comes from simple API for XML, and try to imagine that you have some interface class that has functions like start document, end document, start element with the name of the element and all the attributes in some structure, then end element with the name of the element, and then also characters where you put the content, and that's it. And a producer of the XML calls these functions and fills the attributes, and and passes to something that is a consumer who inherits from this interface and reacts to these callbacks. So you can already imagine that I don't hide that I love flat ODF, but I want to be honest with you a little bit, and I can tell you that there are issues also with flat ODF. One of the things is the embedded binary, like embedded images, embedded OLE objects. Package ODF file, in the package ODF file, the embedded images and OLE objects are in spatial storage, spatial folder, and they are referenced by link. So there exists the possibility to have one, if every page, if you repeat certain pictures several times, you have it in the file only once and refer to it twice, 3 times, 4 times. Flat ODF file, all the embedded binary objects are inlined as base64 data, so it means that they are basically for each 6, they are about 30% bigger than actually its counterpart that is binary, and inlined on every reference. So in corner cases where files repeat pictures frequently, you will basically have the pictures duplicated, and it can create a huge file. There are corner cases, but we have to be honest about them. There is a possible solution to extend the specification and have a data section where you just put the base 64 streams and reference them by names, or it needs some political will and pass through specification process. Specification process is not necessarily the most sexy thing to spend your long evening of the winter. So, and another problem is that there are only few applications that actually support this file format out of the box. And one of them, or maybe the only one, I didn't check Calligra by later versions, but I know that LibreOffice will support it. And the problem is that when there are new features specified, people, they forget to specify them in the non-package file format. So what happens many times that there is standard extension, but the standard extension is completely silent about how this extension has to be projected into the flat ODF file, which gives some things are pretty obvious because it's just adding XML attributes. That's obvious how to solve it. The problem is if there are some new folders in the zip file added and we don't know what to do with them, like for example embedded fonts and this kind of thing, where we put them. So then this opens door for implementation specific solutions, and and or people who don't actually support this file format, they will just not care, and the file format from the point of view of specification bitrots. There are also possible solutions in specification extension, and it's just to be vigilant and in the specification process ask question, how is this represented in flat ODF file? I don't keep it as a secret that the chair of the technical committee that in OASIS is doing ODF is not extremely thrilled about flat ODF file, but I am, so I will still speak about that. I will give you some examples of the use of the flat ODF file. LibreOffice has API for filters, where the filters communicate with the LibreOffice. For example, the XSLT-based filters that convert an XML to another XML, they are using this flat ODF output from LibreOffice and apply the transforms on it. For example, CompSun Star, Comp Writer, XML Oasis Importer pushes to LibreOffice flat ODT, and CompSun Start Comp Calc XML Oasis Importer receives from LibreOffice flat ODS. ODS is the spreadsheet and ODT is the text file format. It's just as an illustration that it actually is used for filters. So it's good to have specified what we can do with it, because filters with LibreOffice communicate over this file format in abstract way. And also XML-based filters, they use X document handler that is a SAX interface, and import filters push SAX messages to it, and export filters, they are itself an instance of it and receive the SAX messages from LibreOffice and process the data. For example, now, since I speak also in the name of document liberation, our file importers, they all work with flat ODF. We have a library that is called libodf gen, and the generators that they actually generate flat ODF files from, yeah, I don't know why it cut it, but it's okay. So for the ODT, we have a library that is called librevenge. We are not revenging to anybody, but it's just because we were starting to do a reverse engineering, so we wanted to name the library like that, and then when it came to revenge, we actually realized that it's a pretty nice name, especially if you speak to people you don't like about it. So for the ODG generator, we have an interface that is called librevenge RVNG drawing interface, and yeah, it's there actually, and presentation interface and spreadsheet interface. So that's it, and I hope that I managed to successfully wash your brain, and you will know how wonderful the flat ODF is, and that sometimes it's even better than butter bread. So if you have questions, you ask.
Excuse me. So how do you save a file set like this from LibreOffice now?
If you, for example, okay, we have LibreOffice here. So if I want to save this file, you see this is very good. Sorry, I was very quick when I spoke. So we have a lot of time to waste. So save as, and you can choose formats, and one of them is called Open Document Presentation Flat XML. And it will create file that has FODP extension, but it's just so that if you save the file, you don't overwrite an ODP file that was there before, but you can use ODP for that, and LibreOffice will recognize it without problem. So when we do that, we can save the file, and I can actually show you how the file looks. First, I have to find where it is, because I don't know my computer very well. So ODP. Okay. So I put it here, and I used 2 hands for 3 seconds. I prefer walking and running and jumping, and you can see my sport body. So this is how the file format looks. So basically, if you want to, yeah. So these are the pictures in the Office binary data. They are reasonably little because all inside the pictures inside are SVG. So they are just base 64 encoded SVGs, but and they are different. So, but for example, the advantage of this thing is that I can show you. Oh, there is another. Okay. Floss enthusiast. So I changed floss enthusiast to floss junkie, and I save it. And now we go to the page where I speak about myself, and I reload the document. Reload, and you go there, and if you put F5 there, you will find that it's floss junkie. So it's much easier. For example, we have these cases where there are some things in LibreOffice, they are generated, and they are counters. For example, when you automatically generate picture name numbering, it shows you figure 1, figure 2, figure 3. And this is inside the code. Now, if you do it in Portuguese, you can't achieve it saying figura 1, 2, 3. So the best thing to do, you just save it as flat ODF and you run set on it, and you have a document that is perfectly localized into Portuguese. If you have to do it in zip file, you have to unzip the thing, look in which of the XML files you have it, and run it on it, rezip it, and open it again. Here you can basically pull the document in real time. Okay, they are already quite a number of people who are using this for keeping their documents in version control. It has one little disadvantage, that LibreOffice numbers styles, so, and somehow doesn't keep the order easily. So if you change a style of something, you can have a huge diff, because it will add another style, it will number it maybe 2, and all the other styles it will shift it. So, but there might be a possibility to solve this issue somehow, but just to keep the numbers and add the new style as an additional number. But for the while, I think because they are in vectors, or I don't know, in maps, I don't know which structure they are stored into, so that produces this effect. But still, I'm saying that it's a wonderful thing, this flat ODF. So LibreOffice supports it out of the box. It loads it, it saves it without problem.
That's the matter here. I have more or less a new LibreOffice here, version 4.2, and I don't see the flat versions. Yeah, it's not here. Just okay. I'll show you.
I'm going to show him.
We can play along there.
No, it's there. Unless by the translation.
Yeah, I'm using English.
Okay.
So here.
Make save us. Okay. Save as. Yeah. And now all formats. What is there? And open sheet, spreadsheet team, audio spreadsheet, open document, open, go a bit down. What is there? This is funny. This is Fedora official build. It's possible because this is a filter actually. It's possible that there must be some filter package that Fedora spinned it off, because in the official builds, it's in the main package. So check whether they are not filters, because it's very simple, but it's a filter. So you have to, if you want to use it, you have to check which Fedora package is providing that filter. We have still 35 minutes. What I do, I sing Garota de Ipanema. So if you don't have questions, we are going to have party. Oh, he has a question. Oh, thank you for saving my time. I'm normally
not properly questioned. Back a few years ago, 2010, I actually made an application which saved spreadsheets in ODF file format, and I went to all the work of generating the full ODF. And so I generated the XML and put it inside the zip format, and this is much easier. So just
once again,
a few years back, I did a small script which generated a spreadsheet, and I had to do all the work of generating all the ODF file, and this actually looks much simpler, so it looks okay for that. Unfortunately, XML files have, you said, a huge disadvantage of the zip file format is you have to read it all, to read all the file, so you can get to the end of the file and start seeing the parts that are before it. XML files suffer from the opposite problem, because you have to read up to the closing tag of the document, don't they?
Sorry, I was not listening to you.
So,
you could
okay.
ask my wife. I'm very good at not listening to people. So,
okay.
Could you just repeat it? I'm sorry, because
Yeah.
I was trying to make this thing not to be sleeping very quickly.
So the problem I see, we still have a problem with it being XML, because in XML you still have to read the closing tag of the document, so you can render it all. You can render it partially, but you can't have a string which you can access the middle of a document, for example. So, is there any word for this? For example, could I pick some tags inside the middle document?
Okay. The closing tags, they have the advantage that they are basically showing you whether there is well-formed document. But at the end of the day, many of my filters, they read XML, and I'm not necessarily very scared about the closing tag exists. If you process it by libraries like libxml, it will look for you already whether it's well formed, and it will give you the thing, and you can just, the closing can basically ignore, because it's just to know what is the scope of, and by the opening tags you can know already the scopes of what is following. I think that if you pull them over wire, you can basically keep somewhere a stack to check whether things are properly closed or not closed by names of the tags, because the closing element anyway doesn't tell you it is. If you have nested elements of the same name, it doesn't tell you which one is closing. So you just can have a stack that at the closing time tells you at the end of the document whether this document was corrupted or not corrupted. But you can already try to get the content from it, and maybe if there is a tag towards the end that is corrupted, it can actually be a quite good corruption removal thing, that you actually ignore the closing tags. But if your students and professor asks you to write XML parser, please don't follow my advice, because professors sometimes they like when things are done properly. But me, I like things that work. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, is there any specific MIME type for this flat file format? Will LibreOffice just understand it over a wire, or do I have to save the file locally, use the import filters?
The file has MIME types. The file, this flat ODF files, they have MIME type. Let's check in the document that we opened. you will see at the beginning this floss junkie. There, I will try to look for the MIME type here. Let me make it wrap. Preferences, wrap. As you can see that there are also those people who are programming in very old editors. So, mamma mia, qu'est-ce que j'ai fait? I just highlighted properly. So there you have for the presentation document. It is application VND Oasis document presentation. If you feed it to LibreOffice and it doesn't have this information, it will refuse the file. But the same thing, application VND Oasis document, open document presentation, you can find it in the zip file. There is something that is called MIME type here. Okay, slideshow. That MIME type has just that string. So there is only a way to encode this separate file inside the XML. If, okay, LibreOffice, if this MIME type thing is not there, it will still try to look into manifest and check whether manifest doesn't specify what kind of file it is. Not because it would be a valid ODF document, but because we are trying always to be opening even corrupted things and not to be very anal about correctness of the produced file format. Because sometimes what can happen that if you are very strict about what you accept as file format, you might be not interoperating with other producers of ODF, and generally, if your application can't open something telling the user that it was not a validly generated ODF, is not a good solution, because they will still think that it's your application that sucks. So it's better to open even things that are slightly not compliant. So that's what we do also with OXML files, because Microsoft Office decided that they will produce a zip file where the different dates in the header of the central directory and in the file itself, they will differ, and normally that shouldn't be compliant zip file, but we are trying to close eyes and say, okay, we just accept it because we know how to read it. So that's our philosophy. Be strict in production and accept imperfections. It's like in a marriage. We are already over half an hour. We can already make a party now. Fazemos uma pausa para tradução? Okay, if there are no questions, I will just thank you for bearing with me. And if you want to chat, I can chat with you in broken Portuguese, even if you want to chat in broken Portuguese. Apart that, English or Spanish, it's fine for me. So, okay. Obrigado.